We had a football game last night, the Hall of Fame game that is, and we're going to recap that and give you all the juicy details with a special guest coming up here next on Boy Green Daily. It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field Gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor Gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever seen.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Your AKA Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. And yes, I'm not in the home studio. I am in Canton, Ohio for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm right down the road from the Hall of Fame. I was there last night at the stadium. The stadium's beautiful. I've got so many things to say, but we only have 20 minutes, so we'll see what we could get to on today's program with some of the takeaways. But we will be recapping New York Jets Cleveland around some of our top takeaways. And let's bring on this man. We had to get him on this week. It is Ty Butler of ESPN 98.7, and here he is on the program. What's up, Ty?
Yo, my apologies to you and the audience. I was supposed to be on the show yesterday. Sorry about that, but I'm here today. We got some actual football to react to, so I'm excited, man. What's going on? What's going on, brother?
Well, let's, I'll tell you, just a couple of takeaways from actually being here live. I think there's some things, as I can understand any difficulties fighting hotel Wi-Fi. So if that does indeed happen, I see an issue or two arising, but we'll try to power through. I will say one of the things that I can notice from being here is I got to give a shout out to Will McDonald, man. His burst off the edge is it's hard to translate sometimes when you're watching the television, but when you see him coming off, he seems like, I can't guarantee he's going to be a Hall of Fame or anything of that nature. But what I can tell you is he's incredibly
Oh, it looks like we lost Paul here. So do I have to do the honors and take control of the show? Shout out to Boy Green. So he was talking about Will McDonald, and that was one of the things that jumped out to me yesterday. His first snap, he's undebated to the quarterback. Got a hit on Kellen Mond. So it's going to be intriguing to watch how he develops this season because we know how good the defense was last year, number 4 in all of football. And there are a lot of names to watch. Sauce Gardner, obviously, reigning Defensive Rookie of the Year. Quinnen Williams just got paid. So excited to watch him in the trenches. Carl Lawson, I'm looking for a big season from him. 2 years removed from that Achilles injury. It's time for him to really tap into that potential and have the impact that we envisioned when we first saw the Jets sign him and bring him in. But, Will McDonald, it's interesting. I was on a Jet podcast the other day talking about this. The first time in a long time where when we talk about the preview of the season and things to look out for, we're not really mentioning the rookies. And it's a good thing because it means that the team is talented, had some veteran leadership. And, of course, when you bring in Aaron Rodgers, there's a lot that comes with the territory there. But Will McDonald is a guy who is going to be a valuable asset in this system. We know Saleh likes to keep his defense fresh, run a rotation, keep that unit strong. We saw it a lot in San Francisco, but the speed jumped off the screen yesterday. And I understand it's preseason, so you don't want to read too much into that. But if he is going to be a difference maker on defense, being able to get to the quarterback, something that the Jets had success doing last year, but you're still looking for that consistency in that regard, that edge rusher to force the quarterback into some tough throws. If he is going to be electrifying, man, that's going to be a game changer for this defense. Once again, want to pump the brakes, don't want to overreact to preseason and training camp because, the regular season is a completely different animal and it's the Cleveland Browns. But that is a guy I am so much looking forward to watching this year. Another guy is Izzy. And I do wonder, I started to think about this yesterday as I'm watching him. And of course, he had the touchdown. If the Jets don't sign Dalvin Cook, which I would be shocked. And I guess I won't be that shocked. If Dalvin goes to Miami, then it makes sense. He's from Miami. They were the favorites coming into this process to land him. But if he doesn't go there and he signs elsewhere, the Jets could be in some trouble at the running back position just because Brees Hall, yes, we love him. Saw what he's able to do last year. Coming back from a really significant injury. He is, this torn ACL. We want to dismiss it because of sports science and technology being advanced and it has evolved. We don't look at it the same way we did 15, 20 years ago, especially with Adrian Peterson and, the success he had coming back from an ACL. But it's still a pretty big injury, one that you don't want him to rush back from, especially coming into year 2. He's young and you want him to have a long and prosperous career. So you want to gradually involve him in the offense and bring him back into the fold. And, he's going to become that home run hitter, you hope, just 1 year removed from the incident. But, Michael Carter coming off of a very disappointing campaign. You remember how we felt about him just go back a year ago coming into the season. Last year, he was not great. And we all remember that big fumble he had against the Bills. So Izzy could have an important role. He could be a vital piece, a key cog in this offense. We understand that Rodgers brings a different element. He's one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football. The list just came out. I think they had him rated number 4. The NFL.com list just came out. They had him rated number 4. Still need a lot from the running game. You still need to be able to have that be a consistent attack as part of the dynamics of your offense. And we understand that, Izzy is someone who had success last year. What, he had 20 touchdowns in Pittsburgh? 20 touchdowns? I believe I have that right. 20 touchdowns. And last night, I should say, we saw him score a touchdown. He's fast. He can run in between the tackles. And this is someone who, if the Jets do have success this year, I could see, being a big, big part of it. As far as Zach Wilson is concerned, because that was regrettably, and I'll explain why I say regrettably the thing that I was looking most forward to in watching this game. 3 for 5, 65 yards. We know he had the 57-yard pass. The opening drive was comical because, they start off with a running play. Second play is a pass over to the sidelines. Then it was like, 3rd and 5, where Collinsworth even gave him credit because he said last year, this is where he struggled. Goes to his first read, then he takes off. You saw him go through multiple progressions, went through his first read, went through his second read, maybe snuck in a third read before he took off and then slipped. And I'm thinking, oh boy, here we go again. We are yearning for the days of him experiencing growth and development, and we want to see what he's learned so far because this is like his first road test, if you will. Let's see what you've learned after the embarrassment that was last season. You come into this year, you lose your job to a Hall of Famer, albeit, but you lose your job, so you're no longer the starting quarterback for this team. Now we have to do this whole reset. Hopefully Rodgers can take you under his wing and you learn under his tutelage, and we can see some type of significant progress. Opening drive, you slip. 3 and out all over again. That's all we saw last year was 3 and out. They renamed the damn Jet offense. 3 and out. Hey, you hear that in the headset? What's the play? Oh, we're calling for the 3 and out offense. But to go back to what I said, regrettably, I think people get too caught up in what we're watching with Zach Wilson. If Zach Wilson sees the field at all this year, it means something disastrous happened. Aaron Rodgers is your starting quarterback. The fact that people are so hung up on not
I
having
think I'm back.
a backup.
Let me see if I can get Ty back up here. Oh, yep.
There we go.
Okay. All right. I don't know what the hell's happening here in this
Well,
haunted
listen,
hotel
Paul.
mansion. Anywho,
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know if you saw it.
yeah,
I
I know.
kept the
I've been
show
gone like the
going.
entire show. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, I
I kept the
appreciate
show
that. Yeah, I
going.
like tuned in on my phone. I saw you. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the hope that every time we can go through things. So let me ask you, Zach Wilson's performance. I think apparently some fans wanted a middle option, but were you impressed? Middle impressed, not impressed. Where were you?
So we were just talking about Zach, and I just find it so interesting how people are so just geeked up about this. The whole Zach Wilson thing. It should not be the biggest takeaway of this game, because the reality is, if Zach sees the field at all this year, one of two things happened. The Jets clinched home field advantage prior to Week 18, which, I mean, does anyone really foresee that happening as high as we are on this team? We don't see that happening. Or a disaster ensued, and that's Rodgers got hurt, or he was just so awful. It's something bad happened. But as far as Zach Wilson is concerned, listen, Collinsworth on the opening drive, I thought nailed it, because we saw the running play, second yard pass play, sets up a third down, 3rd and 5. Collinsworth said, look, last year he goes through one progression. He's looking to take off. Last night we saw him go through 1, 2, and maybe a third progression before he freaking slipped on on trying to get the first down that he would have picked up. Did he look more composed? Sure. Did he look more poised? Sure. But the reality is, we're not going to see what happens with Zach as far as his leap until he actually gets back into NFL games. And hopefully we don't see that at all this year.
That's fair. I will say though, the 57-yard bomb got some oohs and ahs
Yes.
in the press box, and I was seated 2 seats to my left was Connor Hughes, 1 or 2 rows in front of me was Joe Douglas and the Jets staff, assistant GM Rex Hogan, Chad Alexander is the director of player personnel, and they it was almost like a silent fist bump, a little yeah, that's what I'm talking about on the Zach Wilson throw, which was
Yeah,
nice. But again, right, it's one throw. Preseason, backup cornerbacks, all that other jazz. But
did you see
it was
too that
exciting. It
I saw
was.
today, and I know obviously you're there and you were in the locker room after. I read up today that it was
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers who drew up the play.
Yeah, that's cool. Offensive coordinator Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, he apparently was on the call. I left, so I was there for the presser for Robert Saleh, and then he was dapping it up with Myles Garrett after. That was cool. And then I heard them tell us, hey, if you stay, Zach Wilson's going to come up. And apparently Makai Beckham came up after. I'm like, you know what? Let me get loosey-goosey. Let's get in the locker room and just try to see who's there. And let's see what's happening. And then I saw my boy Michael Clemens. I'm like, let me walk up to old MC, see what's going on. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'd be lying if I didn't go, whoa, Michael Clemens. Okay, how is this going to go? But I just said, you know what? We follow each other on Twitter. We respect
Oh
one another. Let me
wow!
go. I just can't.
Wait, what made him follow you?
It's
How did that
official
happen?
now that we've met. Oh, yeah, it was crazy. During his college story and after the draft, I brought on this Texas A&M guy, and he told these cool stories about Michael Clemens from back in the day. And then me and Michael just kind of linked up and DM'd and chatted, but like we'd never met each other in person. But yeah, he's a man of few words, but the words are, they matter and they ring a bell or so. So I got to talk with Michael after the game, talk to a couple players. It was nice. It was nice. So can't complain. That was very nice.
And he
But
had
to
some
your point, that was cool.
he had some activity yesterday, man. That defensive line is going to be special again. That was one of my biggest takeaways. And I get it's preseason, but takeaway one was the defensive line is special. Takeaway two was this team has a lot of speed. Will McDonald, we saw Izzy, we saw Malik Taylor on the 57-yard, the recipient of the 57-yard pass from Zach. That was another takeaway. My only negative was, and I got to admit this, I'm watching the game,
Yeah.
man. The first two series, actually on defense as well. So the first 4 possessions of the game between the defense and offense, I'm like, man, these damn penalties. The hell is going
Yeah.
on? Got to clean it
Mm.
up. And Echoes is involved in too many. And I know he actually got hurt yesterday, so I hope he's okay. But too many
Right.
penalties, extending drives. You've got the Browns had like 1,000 illegal shifts, but with the Jets, that late hit out of bounds, I'm just like, man,
Those are terrible.
we gotta clean this up because that's a direct reflection of coaching. And I brought this up to you a couple weeks ago. So it's preseason. Don't react. But there are certain things that translate from the preseason over to regular season games. And that's something that has to be cleaned up because if this team is going to be successful, we got to see great coaching. And penalties is a reflection of bad coaching.
No doubt about it. 19,000 capacity at the stadium, which, like I said, is beautiful. You come right off the exit, you see it. It's right in your face. It's beautiful. And speaking of 19, we got a massive super chat coming in here. Thank you to NY2FLA, who shipped me up a Darrelle Revis jersey, which I love that he's worn, and it got a proper love here in Canton, Ohio. But his question or comment is, thought Jamian Sherwood played great. Chazarot McDonald looked terrific. Izzy and offensive line did well. Enjoyed the ceremony, and thanks again for taking the Revis jersey for me. You're the man. Great job. Thank you. Ty jumping in, obviously, to fill in as well. Yeah, Surratt had a nice pick. That was good. Sherwood was out there, a lot of PT. McDonald got a ton of PT. Some people were criticizing that he was a first-round pick, was in there in the fourth quarter. Bryce Huff was in there in the fourth quarter. So a lot of guys played a little bit late. I didn't get a chance to ask Salah about that after the game in specifics, but it was certainly in my notes to say kind of what was the plan there for a lot of those guys playing. But maybe it's just the defensive line rotation. And in Will McDonald's case, his first NFL action ever. So I'm assuming that was it. But NY2FLA, appreciate the super chat, my friend. Thank you. Very nice. Very nice.
And appreciate the love, man. Oh, by the way, Paul, we got to mention this, man.
Yeah, what's up?
How cool was it? DeMarcus Ware doing the national anthem. That was awesome.
Wow.
He sounded great, man. I was happy for him.
Yeah,
that was
DeMarcus. Cool yeah, that one caught me off guard, and the people in the press box too, because for those who don't know, you know, when there are like field announcements, there's this like, is DeMarcus Ware? We went, what? We kind of went a zoinks? Who? What? And to hear it was for Demaryius Thomas, former Jets receiver, former Broncos receiver. He was in a couple of different places, most notably with the Broncos, a former Super Bowl champion. You know, it was powerful, moving. You know, we got to hear some of the audio of the national anthem up in the press box, and man, that was touching, surprising. Certainly, I didn't know that was coming. Maybe that was prior announced, and I didn't see it. But that was some pretty moving stuff there in Canton. Yes.
Yeah, I think next time we should have you sing it. How about that? What do you think?
Hey, I got no problem. I got the pipes, baby. I got the pipes, baby. Now we'll see if anyone is screaming in the other direction after hearing those pipes, but I've got no problem. I got no problem throwing myself out there. That's what I like bringing to the table. And Ty, only a few more real quick here before we get out of here. And guys, I apologize for the technical difficulties. This hotel Wi-Fi. Okay, I got to get a better hotel next time. Note to self. Makai Beckham, did you bring up him? What'd you think of him? His snaps? There was conflicting reports on how he was taken out of the game and what he looked like, but he was back on the field for the first time in 600-plus days.
Yeah, it was odd, though, because he was supposed to play anywhere between 20 and 25 snaps. And what did he end up playing? Like maxing out at like 10. And Salah, after the game, said that there was no setback. But it's odd that he played 15 snaps fewer than what he was supposed to play, but there was no setback. Did start to feel it in his knee. So I don't know what to make of that. It's something that we'll watch out, obviously, with the practices coming up. He's got to stay on the field, and it is alarming to me that when he was supposed to play as anywhere between 20 to 25, and he didn't get to that number. So that's alarming. That's something that I'm paying attention to going forward.
Yeah, we'll certainly have to keep an eye out for that. And then just a couple of quick nuggets here again. The Will McDonald spin move. I asked Sala about that in the presser after. He brings a lot of juice to the table. Him, I'm excited about. I asked Sala after if Izzy's continued emergence. Again, this is one game, but he had the nice cut to the outside, the speed to get to the edge. I asked him if his continued emergence could change your opinion on Dalvin Cook, and he said those two things are independent. He said they're not connected, which is, I think, impossible to not be connected. They both played the same position, but okay, coach, makes sense to me. Sure. All righty. So apparently nothing there, and that's the one thing to pay attention to. According to Mike Florio, after this Hall of Fame game, the Jets players are already heading back. They got practice on Saturday. We have the enshrinement coming up as well, but Mike Florio said the talk should heat up between Dalvin and the Jets, so we will keep an eye out for that as well, Ty.
Yo, I was thinking about this last night, man. He low key and sneakily becomes a vital cog of that offense if they don't sign Dalvin Cook, because you got Brees Hall coming off the injury, and you don't want to just kind of thrust him into all of these snaps. And then Michael Carter was disappointing last year. Not that you're going to give up on him, but you can't feel great about his what he's able to do this year. So Izzy scored a touchdown last night. He looks like he's got some speed there. He might be someone that's important to this offense, especially early as you usher Brees Hall back into the fix. And if you have a running back competition, that's a good thing. It's a great thing.
Yes, yeah, I think that could be. Yeah, that could be something. All right, guys, we're losing people on Wi-Fi, I see. So, Ty, thank you for stepping in, powering in. I get to watch a little bit of the shows. I was trying to jump back on here. We'll be hopefully in a better spot later, hopefully live from the Hall of Fame at some point later today. Ty, thanks for making it work, baby, and we'll be checking back in next week. Joint practices, Carolina Panthers. We have plenty to come up, pal.
Yes, sir, man. Looking forward to it. Have fun this weekend, bro. Have fun.
Beautiful. Well, all right, we'll do.